Your hands tell a story. They can make you look professional, friendly, and confident, or they can make you look nervous, aggressive, or boring. My name's Kyle Murter. I'm a professional coach, speaker, and author, and today I'm going to talk you through the 5 most common mistakes people make when gesturing during a presentation. Mistake number 1 is holding hands. There are 3 problems with bringing your hands together in a presentation. Number 1 is when your hands are together, you're far more likely to fidget like this, which can make you look nervous. Second, having these gestures creates a barrier between you and your audience, which makes you look more defensive. And third, when you do gesture from this position, it makes it look like you're playing an instrument because your hands always have to come back to the center. So for all of those reasons, you want to avoid clutching your hands like this. Instead, try and have your hands by your side so that when you do gesture, it looks a lot more natural, you seem more open, and you don't look like you're playing an instrument. The second mistake is closed palm gestures. There is a huge difference in feeling between me gesturing like this when I'm speaking and me gesturing like this when I'm speaking. See, when you have your fingers together like this, it makes the audience feel more uncomfortable because your hand looks more like a fist. Think about it. Back in caveman days, if you saw someone holding this gesture, their hand like this, it meant either they're going to fight you or they've got a weapon that they're going to use to hurt you. And even though we're no longer living in those times, our brain still views these gestures in that same way. So you want to make sure that you're not turning the audience off by having closed palms. Instead, open your palms up like this. Because if you think about it, open palm gestures are the complete opposite of that gesture, aren't they? They indicate that I have no weapons, I mean no harm, that I come in peace. The third mistake is gesturing too small. Often when speakers are lacking in confidence, they tend to only gesture within themselves. And what I mean by that is that all of their gestures are within the size, the width of their body. And by gesturing like this, you seem less impactful, less comfortable, and you certainly have less presence on stage. But if you go bigger with your gestures, all of a sudden, now you have far more presence, far more confidence, and you seem far more comfortable when you're up there. And it's simply because you're taking up more space on the stage and your hands can be seen more clearly out here compared to being in here. The fourth mistake is gesture positioning. There are 3 places you can gesture from. You can gesture down here, slightly below your waist. You can gesture up here, almost above your shoulders. Or you can gesture in the middle, from your midsection. And these 3 positions communicate very different things. Gesturing down here suggests lower energy and lower enthusiasm. Gesturing up here suggests higher energy and higher enthusiasm. And gesturing here is kind of in that middle range. It's more of a confident, calm, reassuring place to gesture from. And what sometimes people do is they spend their entire time gesturing down here, and that makes their presentation low in energy and not very exciting. Or they gesture all the time up here, and that makes their presentation too energetic all the way through, and people don't take them seriously. So what you've got to try and do is, for the majority of the time, gesture from here, from your midsection. As again, this is a very calm, composed, and confident place to gesture from. And then sometimes, depending on the topic, you can gesture up here briefly, or even down here for a moment, if you want to lift or lower the energy. But for the majority of the time, keep the gestures here. The 5th and final mistake is something that will completely turn off your audience. Pointing. Now, pointing is problematic for a few reasons. Firstly, it's a very authoritarian, aggressive gesture, which doesn't bring a good feeling into your presentation. Secondly, when you point at someone, you are singling one person out in the audience. That can make them feel very, very self-conscious and uncomfortable in your presentation. And then third, and most importantly, like my mum says, when you point the finger, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. So for all of those reasons, avoid pointing. If you do want to gesture towards someone, again, have an open palm gesture instead of pointing at them. That will work so much better and will keep the audience on your side. Now, gestures are very important, but so are first impressions. If you want to know how to grab your audience's attention without saying a single word, check out this video. Subscribe to the channel if you found this valuable today, and I will see you in the next video where we will talk more about how to enhance your presentation skills.